Death Star, man.
Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
So it's been a week of turmoil for Disney, but they were like, quick, roll out the fan service. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Fan service, huh?
I mean, I don't know what else to call it at this point. I mean, it's low hanging fruit here, right? It's a crazy week. You know, they got the board vote.
Right.
You know, things aren't looking good for Disney. Board vote, you know. You know, they got a vote of no confidence in the chancellor over there, and
right.
You know they got.
Yes. Well, I don't know.
So I mean, it's just. So we'll get right into that one, right? Like,
okay.
So we're talking about the trailer that was released for a new set of shorts, Tales of the Empire.
Right. So
now I gotta say,
yeah,
I use the words fan service. I will also say this looks entertaining as hell.
It does. So okay. I'm not, not trying to sound funny, explain yourself, but, what do you mean by fan service? Because, overall, I and I know what you mean, but I mean, for everyone.
Okay, yeah. Over the years, right, and this started during Rebels, right?
Sure, yeah.
Every time there was a masked female Inquisitor, there was always a rumor that this was going to be Barriss Offee.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And I never understood this, and I'll go into that more later. But there's always the rumor that it's Barriss Offee. She's an Inquisitor now. This is going to explain what happened to Barriss Offee after the trial.
Right.
Because, you have this trial. It comes out that she was the one that was, sabotaging the Jedi Order.
Right.
And that's the end of it. She gets hauled away, and that's it. Not a great spot to stop,
Right.
Especially with Star Wars fans. It's all speculation, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm just like, wow, I see what's going on, and you roll this out right now. I mean, it's sus. It's sus, right?
Now, I do think it, it took some time to produce this thing, so I don't think it's, because of the whole board thing.
Right. But this is another one of those things where I'm like, why put it in the trailer?
True. Well, I mean, okay.
Why are you burning? I know you want people to watch the show, but they're going to watch it anyway.
Sure. But it's like, it's about Morgan and Barriss. So
I get that. I get that. You can't have the other one keep their mask on for the whole trailer. Like, I'm just saying.
Right.
Look, I'm looking at the string of complaints that Disney gets, right? What's the word I would use? The discontent of Star Wars fandom.
Right.
But all your reveals keep coming out in trailers. So no one's getting the reveal when they're watching the show. So the show seems to not have as much weight to it because the reveals are coming in the trailer.
Right.
Okay. Like, it's really softening the blow of things that would be happening in the shows.
I hear you.
So I'm like, why are you putting, hey, Barriss Offee's back as an Inquisitor trainee in a trailer?
Right.
Like, it seems like you could soft launch that into reveal her as an Inquisitor somewhere else, and then go back and explain that.
Sure. Yeah, because that's going to take some explaining. That's for sure.
It's going to take some explaining because, I don't think Barriss Offee was ready to join the Empire.
Right.
I don't think the dark side and the Sith was where she was headed, pretty much her moves was to prevent the Jedi alignment with the dark side.
Yes.
I mean, am I wrong there? Am I misremembering?
No. In fact, that was part of her thing. She was accusing the Jedi of, basically allowing the Sith to take hold,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, that's, I don't know. It's gonna definitely, like I said, take some explaining, because I don't know. I'm with you.
Then hold on. Let's add another layer to that.
Okay.
The very dude that she's going to be aligning with right now is the same guy that put her in prison.
Yeah.
So she's just like, yeah, I want to join that guy.
Yeah. Well,
That didn't give me a fair trial. And
right.
kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, it was her. Well, take her away, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
I'm with you there. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's
I've never liked the idea of Barriss being a Inquisitor.
Right. I think the
I would always entertain the idea of Barriss being, and I hate the term, I've never really liked it, a gray, right?
Yeah.
But I could see that. Like, if you were going to do a gray, Barriss was the best candidate, not Ahsoka.
Right.
Ahsoka was never going to be a gray. All right? She wasn't set up that way.
Right.
Barriss kind of was,
So-
but for different reasons.
Yeah.
She was kind of in a not I'm going to embrace the dark side kind of role, but like, I'm going to defend this at any cost.
Right.
So using all means. That was more of a gray kind of thing
Yeah.
than kind of like an Ahsoka. Ahsoka's things were reflections of her master.
Right.
So
So my biggest, I gotta say that, we haven't even really discussed too much of what the trailer was about, other than Barriss, but everyone's watched it, so we're assuming that you have some insight here. As far as Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Sophie, you have two paths that lead to the Empire, right? Which, okay, kind of strange, but I right from the get-go, right? We have this title card, it's the Tales of the Jedi that burns up into Tales of the Empire. And I'm thinking, if you're going to really juxtapose the Tales of the Jedi thing, wouldn't it be Tales of the Sith? I mean, that's kind of
fair.
what I was thinking. Like, it's kind of, I mean, I guess it's just a matter of, these are the stories I wanted to tell, so, okay.
Right.
Fair, tell the stories you want to tell. But that's just where my head was at.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it, right? Like, hey, we should take a little time and show the other side.
Yeah.
And wait, did they? I didn't see a release date in there. Was there a release date?
May the 4th.
Well, shit. So it's coming out. It's coming out before The Acolyte.
Right.
So, is this a primer? for this plan they have for the Acolyte to kind of show the other side and this different point of view kind of thing.
You know, it's a good thought. I just, you know, maybe they're going for a different feel here. You know what I mean? Star Wars is too much about Jedi, and we're gonna have to let's get dark. I don't know. But I'm also not a big fan of that, you know, because it's like I don't know. This goes deeper than you know what I'm gonna touch on surface level here, but it's like, you know, Star Wars has always been pretty black and white as far as, you know, good, evil, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I've always kind of liked that about it. It's not complicated, right? So I don't understand why there's this need to make it complicated these days. And let's embrace the dark side of it. You know, yeah, I like to see these stories, sure, but you know, it's almost like there's this desire to go down that road big time, you know?
I mean, so it's like they're trying to capture the lightning in a bottle that is Thrawn.
Right, yes.
Again with other characters. I don't think you're going to be able to do that unless you have a character that's as intriguing as Thrawn.
Right.
Like Thrawn had so many things, and Thrawn as a character was very unique because he was so I guess the way to put it would be like emotionless, right?
Yeah.
The goal was the goal no matter what it took.
Yep.
That was just different. Like, and he was so cold and all of that, but not cold as in evil.
Right.
He was cold because, look, this is his objective. He's an officer of this, and that's what he's got to do.
Yep.
Period.
He's just going to do what he's got to do to get the job done. Absolutely.
Right. It wasn't an emotional thing for him. It wasn't a power thing for him. It was, this is how you win.
Exactly.
That's what made Thrawn so intriguing. It wasn't a grab.
Right.
You know? He was in a role of leadership, and that only because of the situation. His old mission mandates remained the same.
Mm-hmm.
He was only the leader because he was the highest ranking one left.
Yeah, totally.
So that's like I said, that's a lightning in a bottle thing. You're not going to do that by forcing it.
Right.
And it's like, we're all wise to that whole thing now too, because during that trilogy, we're like, man, we're rooting for this guy, but he's the bad guy. What's wrong with me? Like,
Yep.
Like,
yes.
He's the main character and I'm rooting for him, but he's the bad guy and I shouldn't want him to win. And then at the end, he doesn't win. And you're like, yes. You know, like,
Yep.
like secretly, I wanted the good guys to win. And yay, Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. There's that. I don't want to say it bugs me, but there's something a little bit off about it to me. You know, this whole, you know, like embracing the dark side or the you know, the evil government side. You know, another way to put the Empire when you think about it. You know.
Well, I'll say this, and we'll talk about it later when we talk about the Bad Batch. We have 2 episodes of the Bad Batch to talk about, and I think these episodes this week actually capture the evil and the imposing nature and things like that of the Empire really good.
Sure. Yeah.
So why you're gonna do, like, you're gonna have this trailer come out when you have these? It's like, wow, we're supposed to go rooting for these people.
Exactly.
So, like I said, it looks entertaining as all.
Yes.
All get up, right?
Entertaining, and you say looks. My God, the animation in this looks phenomenal. I can't wait to see it all. You know.
Oh yeah.
I like a lot of the stuff we saw. We got to see Thrawn in a black uniform, right? And because you didn't say Grand Admiral Thrawn, they said Admiral Thrawn. And just, you know, there's also the looks like we're going to get to see this Grievous takedown of the Night Sisters. So,
Right.
you know, which is something that, you know, a lot of people have been looking to see for quite some time. So, you know, I think it's going to be very, very insightful, and looks like it'll be very entertaining. I just, you know,
I'm going to say this, and this is probably going to be a little dark for Star Wars animation.
okay.
But you know what I want to see Barriss get to this?
Oh, yeah.
I want to see
yummy.
Barriss getting tortured
Well-
while in prison.
Yeah. You almost have to, right? In order.
I want to see something that's really, really inflames the anger.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense, because there's got to be something to get her to turn on her ideals. So,
Like, I understand, like, she was kind of embracing anger and things like that a little bit,
a little bit. Yeah.
but her ideals and stuff were noble.
Right.
Her methods were just bad.
Yep.
That's why I said, okay, I could see Barriss becoming a Grey, but not a Sith or an Inquisitor or anything like that.
Right.
I just didn't see that whole, like, that's almost going to the path of, like, hey, if you do anything questionable, you're just going to be a Sith.
Right.
And if that's the case, you're calling all of Luke Skywalker's existence into question.
Pretty much.
Like, you're like, well, you can't make mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Every Jedi must be pure as the driven snow. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, man, the Rey series is going to be interesting.
Exactly.
So, and I don't know how Kylo ever came back from that.
Yeah.
So,
good
yeah,
point.
I don't know. It's interesting. I'm really excited to watch it.
Yep.
I mean, the first pass through, like, just on the surface, not being, you know, super analytical on it, I'm like, wow, this looks really good,
Right.
you know? And then I go back and watch it again, and like, okay, I got to pick this apart.
Yep.
And it didn't take long to go, yeah, duh, Barriss? Really? They're going Barriss?
Exactly.
Like, I get why, because it's something that has been asked for.
Oh, sure.
People have, I don't know if I should say wanted, but have expected Barriss to be an Inquisitor.
Right. For some reason. Yes. But, hey.
Now, I will say this. Her look at the end, I couldn't put my finger on it. But it almost looked like they worked her into potentially being one of the ones we've seen.
It's possible.
Did you notice that at the end?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, you know?
Because it looked like she was missing her facial markings.
Right.
I could be wrong, but like it could just be the lighting and like, all that. But
Right.
and yes, lighting and animation is a thing now. Okay,
Oh yeah.
they've used the term,
Yes.
so it could just be the way they designed lighting for that scene. But it almost looked like they were staging it to be one we've seen. Maybe one we've seen only masked.
Right. Speaking of masked Inquisitors, we get to see some that we saw already. And what was the name of the one dude in Ahsoka? Merrick or something?
Mm-hmm.
When he gets killed, he turns to dust or whatever.
Yeah,
It looks like he's
the
one of
Night Sister Magic guy.
Right. Looks like he's one of the ones that was standing there in the lineup waiting for Vader. And, be interesting to see just who all we do get to see with this, familiar
Right.
faces or not. But, yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Morgan with the two scythes and like she kind of like brings them together in a circle.
Right.
I was like, well, that's kind of badass.
That's got to be like early Morgan, like,
Right.
which, again, cool character and all. Do I really want all this extra?
Did you leave Ahsoka going, wow, we really need more Morgan?
That's what I'm saying. Right. It's like, interesting character, but, the most interesting, a character that like, I've got to see more of this character. No. You know what I mean? That's where I'm coming at with it.
Hey, they're doing a really good job of using super interesting characters to just set up the other characters.
Right. Exactly.
Like Thrawn, Cad
Yeah.
Bane, like
Yes.
this is what they do.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, all right. I think we did a good job of hyping and beating that up just enough.
I really agree, actually.
This was balance, right?
Yes.
It's all about balance.
It is.
So, we talked a couple weeks ago about the shareholders' vote, right?
Yep.
And this will be quick.
Yeah.
Talked about George Lucas's betrayal.
Right. Because
He turned on us.
he does want to make money, right? We talked about
Right,
that. Yeah.
right. Well, the vote went through, and everything's staying the same.
Right. So
Kind of. I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna.
Okay.
Kind of the way they're doing things now, right? Like a whole lot of build up, not a lot of drama at the end. Like,
Oh, it's legit. That's yeah.
like this big dramatic middle, like things are gonna be just changed forever, and then the end's like, huh?
Exactly.
So wait, it's all the same.
Yes.
Well, that's weird.
I know.
Well, they like their storylines.
It's so. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but yes, Bob Iger made a statement, and I kind of zoned out when he started talking about a great new era. It's like, wait, how's it a new era for Disney with the same people? Okay, whatever you say, Bob.
I didn't realize we had Chapek back. We're entering a new era with the same guys.
Yeah.
New era.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be looking forward to this new era of Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, did he at least say, hey, we heard the message?
I don't think he said that. So. But we'll
Or
see.
did he say, we're going to celebrate this victory for the Disney Empire with Tales of the Empire?
Right. That's hilarious because Disney is an empire.
Right. Right. So, like, let's tell more stories about the Empire winning.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. We're going to use this to make us not look so bad.
All right. So the Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch, yes.
The Bad Batch.
That's what everyone's here for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, you know what? This season, I see it, right? I really hope they don't fumble.
Right.
Because they've got really great momentum this season.
Yep.
You know, they've so we're talking about, of course, season 3, episodes 10 and 11, Identity Crisis and Point of No Return.
Right.
So I will say, Identity Crisis, this first episode,
Right.
I was like, wow, they are really committing here to how evil the Empire is.
Yes.
You know, kidnapping, man. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, using the bounty hunters and things like this is one of those things that we wanted to see out of the Empire in this era of storytelling about the Empire, right? Like let's see the bad stuff they're doing.
Yes. Exactly.
Not this shrouded, oh wow, they're doing experiments. Okay, the Republic was doing experiments. Like,
Right.
show me how it's bad.
Exactly.
Show me why they're evil.
It's kids. They're
This did
experimenting.
it. This
Yeah.
did it. And like, mad props to finally making the Empire out to be the bad guys.
Yeah. Now, okay. In a lot of ways, right? Season
And
one.
I'm talking exclusively of the Bad Batch,
yeah.
not overall. Like,
I'm talking like season 1 of the Bad Batch. We got to see a lot of how the Empire was just like out in force, almost like a martial law situations in every system, everywhere kind of thing. You know, you couldn't walk anywhere through a town without seeing a stormtrooper, right?
right.
That sort of thing. And we get that as far as, you know, that's evil, right? That's not how a free society lives, you know. But
But it
this
was just
takes
numbers,
it
right?
to a new level. That's
Yes.
the thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was just like, wow, you know, hey, good governments don't need military action, right? Like, what's that about?
Right.
That's all that was.
Right.
This was like, they're doing bad shit.
Yep.
You know, they're kidnapping kids.
Right. Now, I to all those who might argue, well, so were the Jedi. It's like, no, the Jedi did this with like parental consent, you know?
Yeah.
So just to
They
be
explained
clear.
what was going to happen. Look, you are, you know, they put it out there, right? You're not going to see your kid again. This is going to be this. Like, I'm taking him to do this. And
Exactly. And that's
So-
just the way it was. You know, that's how the Jedi did it for, you know, however long they did that for. But it was kind of like a known quantity for a long time.
I mean, bash episode 1 all you want. I mean, Qui-Gon was laying it out.
Yep.
You know, like,
It's true. Yeah.
so. Yeah, I mean, this showed the Empire in a bad light. And it got, you know, they brought in another, like I said, interesting character in Cad Bane.
Yeah. And it's clear he is, wherever there's a payout, that's where he'll be. You know?
Yeah. I mean, man, one of the best lines was, you know, where Oh, what's her name?
Dr. Carr.
Dr. Carter.
Yeah, Emery.
Yeah, she's like, a little younger than
Oh,
I was
yeah.
expecting. And then what'd she say?
Where's this child from?
Yeah, where's the child from? And he says, questions like that betray,
Yeah,
it's like,
you ask questions like that, it tells me more about you than
yeah.
than you're gonna find out. That's
Yeah, that was a great line.
it was.
He's
Oh.
like, yeah, okay, you're sus.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty clear, I think, that the idea here is that she is feeling sympathy for these children, and I think we're going to end up with a scenario where she tries to help them out somehow.
Yeah, we got to get rid of all the clones.
Right?
They're just bad for business.
Yeah.
These clones got more feelings than people.
They are people.
Not if you ask the Empire.
I know.
They're assets,
Yes.
just like the kids.
Right?
And that's
That's
one
part
thing
of it,
I
right? It's
really-
so cold. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but that's what I really liked about this. Like, you're showing the Empire in this light. They're assets.
Yep.
Scientific assets. Like, wow.
Yep.
Like, how can you be so cold, right? How can you just look at children that you're abducting as assets? What kind of evil do you have to be?
The kind that the Emperor wants to employ, that's for sure.
The kind that wears one glove, right? Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, we knew Hemlock was bad when he showed up with one glove.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, that's not good. That's not good. He's a bad dude.
Exactly.
Glad he's living up to the one glove evil, right?
Right.
I'm still wondering what's with the one glove.
Yeah.
What's
We'll
with that
either-
hand?
We'll find out or we won't. I don't know. It's
No, we won't. We won't.
yeah.
We won't. It's just an aesthetic, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
so, but yeah, it's like they really conveyed the emotion well here because, you have the kid who's like, are they going to be in trouble?
Oh, yeah.
And then now that kid's upset because you lied to me.
Yep.
No, it was really, really good episode. It did the right things. Yeah, great storytelling.
Yeah.
And then we get to Point of No Return,
Right.
which just said, yep, I see episode 10 and I'm going to raise you.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I don't know. I feel like we're being set up here for, again, it's how can we make Hunter pissed at Crosshair?
Right. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
But I will say that Crosshair missing, while not unexpected, still felt like a curveball.
Okay.
Because at this point in the game, we know where we're at, right? This is the last season. There's only, 4 or 5 episodes remaining?
Yeah, something like that.
So we know we're coming down to the wire.
Right.
So it's like, okay, they make this plan. He's telling her, look, it's risky, and it's like you're kind of expecting Omega's plan to work out at this point.
Right.
So you're like, part of you saying, okay, he's going to miss and they're not going to be able to find her. But it's late in the game. We're in the third period here,
Yep.
right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
this is crunch time. He's gonna make this shot, and then he doesn't. So that was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Like I saw it coming that he's gonna miss, but I didn't believe it because of where we're at. So
Yeah.
that was a good move.
Yeah, I just I think I don't know.
It was the one time that they really, really played on physics in Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. Yes. And
Like it had the perfect arc for like losing momentum.
Yep.
Like,
yes.
wow.
Uh-huh. And if all of the lead up, all the trouble Crosshair was having with holding the rifle steady and all that kind of stuff was the lead up to this, then I think all of the troopers seeing him and that whole commotion before he tried to get that shot off was unnecessary. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They could have made this more about his failure as opposed to the troopers stopping him from doing what he was attempting to do, if that makes sense. Is that
Well, I mean, it would have almost made sense for it to be the hand, right?
that's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah.
So, yeah, they're doing a good job, a really good job of getting everybody back on the side of Crosshair.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, he's not such a bad dude.
Yep.
Like, I almost kind of expect a curveball that he's actually a bad dude.
Well, it's that's what I'm talking about with Hunter. I mean, Hunter's probably gonna, say, look at what happened and say, was this your plan all along? Kind of thing. And it's like, who knows? But Hunter wasn't around for the whole thing, because he was falling into the water after trying to hijack.
Well, that's going to be Crosshair's argument, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, she got taken and you weren't there.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to fight again.
Oh, yeah. Totally. But you are correct in them doubling down again on the evil of the Empire, because, they come in, they're going to occupy, and we are going to burn this place to the ground until we find Omega.
The deployment of the troopers and the way they really harped on that.
Oh, yeah.
That was so good.
Yes.
So good. Like, some of the strongest Star Wars animation stuff I've seen. Just the way they did that, the visuals there with the troopers marching out of these things into the city and like really conveying occupation.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's a bunch of troopers marching out in the same area over and over and over again, but you're showing the door-to-door stuff in between, and they just keep coming.
Yep.
They just keep coming. You got the Star Destroyer in the sky, in the night sky with the lights under it. Like,
oh yeah,
so good.
And any little bit of protest that they might encounter is met with violence. Pushing people to the ground and that kind of stuff, and pulling them out of their homes. It's like, oh, this is the thing nightmares are made out of. It's like,
yes, yes. I mean, absolutely. And I'll say this again to the people that are sleeping on Star Wars animation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're missing some of the best Star Wars. Like, Star Wars animation has been so strong.
Totally. So
strong. And they just keep that going. It was fantastic. These 2 episodes were, I think I've already used this season. I said the best of the series already. I want to say with trying to remember which episodes it was. It might have been Infiltration and Extraction,
Right.
which were 6 and 7. I want to say I said those were the best of the series so far. And I could be wrong, but I know I said that this season. That
Right,
these
right.
were the best episodes of this series so far. That's been trumped. These are the best episodes of this series so far.
Right.
Like, this series is on a roll this season in a way I didn't expect. I really, really kind of crapped on this series for 2 seasons. But the way it's picking up momentum is strengthening everything that happened in the first 2 seasons
Right.
and really moving forward in a good way. And really, like I said, doing something that we haven't done in Star Wars this well is showing the might and the evil of the Empire.
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's been a ton of showing the Empire's weaknesses and things like that and stretching themselves too thin. And, like, there's been tons of, like, pointing that out.
Yes.
This is showing the might of the Empire at its height.
And you know, to be fair, we've seen the stuff with, you know, the clones and you know, the occupations and things like that, but not, like you said, this is the evil. This is the secret evil stuff going on that, you know,
Right.
that's really coming out. And that's the big deal about it. So,
You know, there's been allusions to, and like with Rogue One and Andor and stuff like that, Imperial occupation, right?
Yep.
To knock down resistance and stuff like that. This is full-scale Imperial occupation for one person.
yeah. Yeah.
For one kid, really.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
this is, and for a project that we can only assume is to extend the Emperor's life.
Right. That is, I think this all plays into what we see in the sequels. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, Project Necromancer, right? Just
Yep.
kind of, how does the Emperor keep himself from dying?
Yep. Now,
This is that, I mean, we assume this is that goal.
right.
So, full-scale military invasion for one child.
Now, speaking of the child, what do you make of her plan?
Oh, it was solid.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It was our most solid plan to date.
I feel like, you know, it's,
I think they followed up well. I
Followed
think
up?
they followed up well. Like, she kind of made the point that, like, where can we hide?
Right. Yes. Yes.
And when Crosshair's trying to execute, I mean, he's in a dark balcony and still gets caught.
Right.
So I think her point was valid. They're going to get caught anyway. Might as well reduce the suffering. And if we can pull this off, find out where Tantus is.
So, okay. That's the part that it's like, okay, maybe that part would work. My thing is, does she honestly believe that if she gives herself up, that these people of this place will no longer suffer? Because,
Oh, I think that's naive.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's
mean-
naive. And I think Crosshair did a good job of pretty much pointing that out
Right.
without saying it. I really would have liked an order to still burn that one structure.
Yeah. Yeah. After
she
turned
surrenders?
herself in and she's walking away, having to look at that. Yeah.
A
Absolutely.
very Princess Leia moment. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
you know, I would have liked that, but it didn't kill it.
Right.
I mean, and you know what? I'll say this too. It was almost kind of implied that, yeah, this didn't save these people.
Right.
So,
so the other thing, she gives herself up. She's taken aboard the ship of the, what is this? What is that clone?
I forget what they call it. Shadow Walkers or whatever.
Right. So, and we see her sit down, take off her hat, and start breathing. It's like, oh, are we going to start seeing her employ some of what Ventress has taught her?
I think she's calling Ventress.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's a take I didn't think of. I like it.
I think she's reaching out to Ventress.
Hmm.
We're seeing Ventress again.
Oh,
Like, that was
let's
my
hope.
thought right there, was she's reaching out to Ventress, and Ventress is going to be able to, like, hone in on this and take Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair to Omega.
Okay. I like that.
And this is going to be the post-Dark Disciple Ventress that we see.
Right.
She cares a little bit.
Right. Interesting.
So, yeah, I think that's my initial thought.
I like that.
It's the only person I can think of that she's going to be able to reach out to. And why have her do that? I think she's very much going to be a Leia kind of Force user, where she's good with, like, the telepathy portion of it,
I see.
but not necessarily everything else.
Right. I like that.
Granted, that's not in canon, right? Like,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's
but the canon kind of alluded to that
right.
as well. Like, she could do the telepathy stuff. She could
It-
do the minor parlor tricks with the Force.
the Force actually helped her in her politics, basically.
Right, but
Yeah.
she wasn't going to be a swordsmith
Right.
or, a crazy sword wielder, right? Like,
Right.
so she's not going to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I feel like it's Ventress. It's got to be, man.
Yeah. I like
Don't
that.
tell me you brought Ventress in for what she did. That's, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was more, that's for sure.
I love the character.
Yep.
I love the character, and I'm, like, so stoked you brought her back. But if you brought her back just for that, like, it's like, damn.
Right.
Now you got to explain how she's alive.
Yeah.
I can forgive the how she's alive thing if you make her important in this.
Yes.
If she's important and it's good, I don't care how she's alive. That was good.
Right.
If you make what she did, I'm okay. How did she survive that? She was dead.
Right.
Pretty sure. I read that book, man. She was dead as hell.
Exactly.
So, no, I like what this season's doing. I like where they're heading. This is good stuff.
Right.
It sucks because it's so late.
Oh, yeah. In the series?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it'd be different if I felt like there was some momentum at all in 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I just never felt that way. Granted, like I said, looking back at 1 and 2, they're better because of what's happening with all this.
Right.
I mean, you look at the involvement of Fee, right?
Yeah.
You look at her involvement here, and her connection to them and all that was fleshed out before makes this make sense. This is how they got to them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And without all that connection and stuff that's established, you'd be like, okay, why does this random pirate have this? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't expect this out of a pirate that they did business with and had no connection to.
Right.
You don't think they're going to call a pirate to their home to do one or two jobs. You know what I mean? So, no, that was all necessary.
Yep.
So, yeah, I like the way they're headed. I just would have liked to have seen this momentum last season.
Right.
At least a hair of this momentum. And who knows, when the series is done and I take my time to go back and watch it all in its entirety, I may go, wow, that all made perfect sense.
Sure.
Very possible.
Can happen. Yep.
But yeah, I just would have liked to have seen some of this kind of pacing and momentum earlier on. At least glimpses of it.
Right on.
Because, man, this season's kicking ass.
Heck yeah.
Well, all right. If you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media at The Wars and More on X, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think we've about covered it.
All right. We will talk next week.